We're here today to celebrate the completion of the River Ness flood alleviation scheme. This is phase 2, but the works are now substantially complete and we're looking forward to enjoying it for the future. Phase 1 goes from Ness Bridge down to Friars Bridge, and phase 2 is from Friars Bridge right the way down to the mouth of the river with the sea. So the phase 2 is actually much longer than phase 1, and we've taken about the same sort of construction time to finish phase 2 as we did with phase 1. So McLaughlin and Harvey have done very well on phase 2.
Yeah, basically the project is complete. 99% of the area is open and being used by the public or by stakeholders. Most of the works that are ongoing at the minute are snagging works, tidying up and finishing works.
Phase 2 is an integral element of the overall project. It's the same level of protection as we got upstream. It's a 1 in 100 plus climate change, which is about a 1 in 200 year flood event that we're protecting properties from. Hopefully we'll never use it, but it's very important and it's good to see it finished.
This is Gilbert Street, Huntley Place. This has been the most challenging area for us in that there's a lot of work involved. A new road construction had to be done full width. There's a lot of diversion of services and drainage, etc. And the detail on the wall, there's an additional step and works to be done on the river side of the wall. Just a difficult area, but as you can see now, it's finished.
We've had a lot of dialogue with the businesses before we actually completed the design, and the idea is that we'd talk to businesses and see what impact that the wall location would have. The harbour's an interesting location. The harbour actually wanted very close proximity to the river. They didn't want any impact, so they actually wanted the wall to be on the outside of the harbour. So you do see a difference there. I mean, one of the problems there, of course, is as soon as you put the wall on the landward side, you need to get through it for access. So you do see gates and things on phase 2 you don't see on phase 1.
There are access points where vehicles are getting access into the commercial premises, so obviously they need to maintain access. So there's especially installed floodgates which are recessed into the wall, which are basically available when there's a flood situation.
The gates are fully watertight, and it's interesting that we've actually water tested those gates on phase 2. So we've actually buried them off and flooded them to make sure that they are watertight. And the challenge that we'll have going forward, of course, is that when we have a flood event, and we know they're coming because there is a tidal event and we know the states of the tide, we'll have to mobilise and get those gates closed. So we'll be certainly practising that and making sure our procedures are in hand to make sure we can close the gates and have them closed when we know flood events are coming. Phase 2 has a very different feel to phase 1. Phase 1 feels very much part of the city centre. We did an awful lot of streetscaping. The works and the close proximity to the businesses had a very different feel. The community down here have been absolutely fantastic. They've put up with an awful lot and they've been very welcoming of the work that we've done.
We had a public relations officer who maintained communication and constant contact with the key stakeholders and the general public. Carried out letter drops, did monthly newsletters, and there was just a communication between all parties so that everybody knows what's going on, what areas where works are being carried out and when the works are expected to be completed and any changes are expected to be done.
As part of the planning approval, we had to come forward with proposals for finishes for the walls that reflected the area through which they're going. So in certain areas on phase 1, it's all a conservation area, so we have stone copes, stone walls. As we go through phase 2, through the industrial areas, we've got concrete finishes. Through some of the other areas, we've got Howell finishes to match some of the adjacent walling.
The wall here is a natural sandstone finish with coping. The wall in the industrial areas is a pattern concrete, coloured concrete finish, which is probably more robust but is more suitable for an industrial area. The finish, the stone, the railings, reinstatement, turfing, landscaping looks very well. It gives a nice finish to the riverbanks, and I think it's going to give a lot of protection for many years to the town. We've had a very good relationship with the Highland Council on this project. I think the main reason for that is because we have been dealing with them directly on site every day. I mean, a job of this scale will throw up its problems, and I think the big thing which I noticed with this job is that problems were discussed straight away with the Highland Council on site. Meet on site, have a look at the problem, and then get it sorted out and get it moved on, so there's no delays. It was 2012 we actually discovered that we were going to get the funding for the scheme, and here we are in 2015 with it all complete.
That, from going from effectively a planning application stage to completed works, is incredibly impressive, I think. I think some of the works that we've done have been fairly invasive. They've certainly been quite challenging to some of the communities we've gone through. And it's interesting to think that those communities that found it so difficult are largely very pleased with the works. We've had some very, very strong feedback on the work that we've done, so we're very pleased. During construction, we've had 2 floods that really have indicated the use of it. So I hope it's never used, I hope it's never needed, but if it is needed, then it'll prove its worth. The amount of investment that's going into Inverness at the moment is very strong. We've just done this major investment in the town, the campus, which is an exciting project, and we're also starting the Inverness West Link in a week's time. So yeah, there's an awful lot of investment going into Inverness. That investment is bound to be good for Inverness. So yeah, exciting times.